Say what a lovely thing it is to be back at the mission. You've no idea how I've missed it. It's been awful. And I hope you all had a wonderful Easter. Did you?
Yeah.
I did. And that's really what I've come to tell you about. So magic. I'm going to make you all younger and I'm going to take you back 2 weeks to Holy Week. Now you've all heard about Good Friday and Easter Sunday and Easter Monday. But there's another day in Holy Week, right in the middle, the Thursday, which has its own special name as well. Does anybody know what the Thursday of Holy Week is called?
Maundy.
Oh, brilliant people! Maundy Thursday, exactly. And I was very privileged to be invited to attend a service at Worcester Cathedral on Maundy Thursday. The letter plopped through my letterbox, much to my surprise. I read it 3 times and still didn't believe it. I hope my postman was duly impressed when he saw on the envelope Buckingham Palace. And I thought, what on earth is this? And I had been selected to receive Maundy money.
Wow.
Now, I knew about Maundy Thursday, not as much as I know now, and I will tell you all about it. But wow, what an experience. I will never forget it. Whatever years the Lord has still allotted to me, and my plan is to live to 90, I will never forget that day. It was exhilarating, is an understatement. But first of all, I want to read a bit of scripture to you, the necessary scripture. This was the service I attended. Quite a book of it. Quite a book of it is what I said. I don't hold 2 things at once. Thank you, darling.
What do you
I know I'd end up the mic stand somehow.
I'm not going to read you the whole of the first lesson. This was read to us by the King. Unfortunately, they don't have video at Worcester Cathedral, so we had to just listen to this. But this is important. Jesus riseth from supper, and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that, he poureth water into a basin, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Then cometh he to Simon Peter. And Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Jesus answered and said unto him, What I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also save to wash my head and my hands. Jesus said to him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean. Then the Lord, his master, have washed your feet. Ye ought to wash one another's feet, for I have given you an example, and ye should do as I have done to you. Bear this in mind, this piece of scripture. Bear it in mind because it's very important in Maundy. The word Maundy comes, we think, from the Latin mandatum, which actually means a commandment. And after Jesus had done this, he said to his disciples, I give you a new commandment, to love one another as I have loved you. I think that's brilliant. To love one another as I have loved you. And this is the reason for the Maundy service. It's actually the sovereign, whoever that may be, promising to be his people's servant. And indeed, up to 1715, I think it was, the sovereign who was giving out the Maundy money actually did wash the feet of the people that he was giving the Maundy money too. I didn't get my feet washed, but that was the custom. And believe it or not, this goes back 1,214 years. Have you got that into your head? 1,214 years ago, the first Maundy service was actually recorded. It may have happened before, we don't know, but that was the first recorded service. And it was actually written down, and King John, who in fact is buried at Worcester Cathedral, gave out the coins. Now, the idea of the coins was, of course, and this is where the controversy comes in, it may come from the French mendier, which means to beg. And in these days, beggars had to hold baskets to get their cash in from people. So they think it might mean the basket or it might mean to beg. But I think the Latin interpretation is the right one. I think it's much better. It's the commandment of the Lord. Now, we got to Worcester very quickly, actually. It only took us about half an hour. I was amazed. My son-in-law and daughter were with me, my elder daughter were with me. But my official companion for the cathedral was my younger daughter. And we had our own tickets. Let me empty this out on the table. And I'll show you. There's my ticket to get into the cathedral and the badge I had to wear, so they knew it was me. And you'll see the red lines down the side. My daughter had a separate ticket which was marked Maundy Companion. Mine is marked Maundy Recipient. And we had to take these tickets with us or we didn't get in. Imagine if I turned up on the Thursday without my ticket. And we had to take our passports because the security, as you can imagine, was tight. So we had to take our passports with us to prove that we were who we were. And we were ushered into the cathedral. I was number 19 and led to my seat and sat down. And I was, being a recipient, very privileged because I was right on the aisle. Now, before the service even began, we had 4 processions. The first one was the ecumenical procession. Boy, was that ever overpowering. We had, yeah, it was us, and it was tremendous. The bishop came in with his robes, and his bishop's mitre, and the robes were so beautiful. And there were all the hierarchy of the church going down the aisle, right beside me. Oh, did I feel privileged? Very exciting. And they all led up to the top of the church, to the sanctuary, where they would sit down. There were representatives of all the churches, not just the Anglican Church, but the Methodist Church were there, the Roman Catholics were there, everybody was there. You name it, they were there. And apart from the 300 people, that's the recipients and their companions, everybody else in the cathedral was an invited guest. There were people from all over the world there. I didn't realise. We actually spoke to some people who had come over from Belgium. And as I say, these people who come, they're from all over the UK. It's not just England. It's Scotland, Ireland and Wales as well. And you can be chosen from any of the United Kingdom countries to be a recipient for whatever reason. The reason that I was there was because I have in the past, going back 50 odd years, taught adults who had difficulty with reading and writing to read and write. And the last stint that I really did of it was here at the mission. And my girls, as I call them, still are in touch with me, still come to visit me, still ask about Darren. I don't know why, but they still ask about Darren. And is he all right? And is he keeping well? And did you tell him I did so-and-so? There's a lot of it I haven't told you, Darren, or we'd never be finished. But that's how proud they are of what they can do. And one of these ladies was a 76-year-old grandma. And she phoned me up one day, Gladys, and she said, "Do you know what I did today, Barbara?" I said, "What?" She said, "I went to Tesco's all by myself and I could read the labels." you cannot imagine what a sense of achievement it gives people to be able to read when they haven't been able to. Because we get up in the morning, we take it all for granted, don't we? You don't think twice about picking things up. Another lad I had phoned me to let me know. He says, "Guess what I did this morning, Barbara?" I said, "What did you do this morning, John?" "I read the paper at break time." And to read the newspaper at break time, what a sense of achievement. He held it up. He says, "I held it up so they could all see me reading the paper." It's wonderful. And that's the justification for what I did, was the delight in the success of these people. And as I say, the last stint I did was at the mission. I think that was really why I got this privilege of Maundy money. Now, as I said, the service starts with processions. The first one was the church one, and then there was another one, the almoners. And incidentally, the almoner, I think it's the chief almoner, that's the money man at the palace, comes in with a towel round him. A towel? Remember? Remember what I read to you? The towel represents Christ coming in to wash his disciples' feet. And then there was the Queen's procession. And that was trumpets. You name it, we had it. A trumpet voluntary for the Queen. And she came in carrying a beautiful nosegay. This is given to her when she enters the cathedral, and to several other people. And of course that was because in the old days, as my children used to say, "Mummy, in the old days, did you..." In the old days, really old days, of course they had the nosegay because the stink of the people that they were dealing with must have been horrible, since they never washed. And so they smelt the sweet herbs and flowers to float them into heaven. And that was why they came in. And I smelt, as the Queen passed me, right beside me, I smelt this nosegay she was carrying. It was delightful. And so they all proceed up to the top of the church, and the service began. And the service began with these words: "I give you a new commandment, to love one another as I have loved you." And so on we went. It was beautiful. And then we had the King's message, which again we had to sit and listen to. And it was the most moving message. My daughter had tears in her eyes, and that was something. And he sounded really, really genuinely sorry not to be there with us. And that's when I really began to understand how very important Maundy Thursday is to the royal family. It's a big, big day in their royal calendar. And it's a big, big day in our calendar because Easter, to me, is the beginning of our Christian year. I love Easter. And although we have Good Friday, we also have the resurrection. And that's everything. That's everything. That's our future. And every year I have a Jan story, renew my faith, as it were, and go on to joyful things with Christ. They ploughed through the service, an hour it took, but I didn't realise the time because it was also interesting and uplifting and just so exciting. And then it was the presentation of the Maundy money. Now the Maundy money is brought in on great big silver salvers carried by beefeaters. You all know what the beefeaters are. The Yeomen of the Guard, I think, is their official title. And they were all in their red outfits, you know. And they came in and they had staffs, some of them, and they bonk, bonk, bonk on the floor as they came in. It was quite majestic, actually. And we all sat up and listened to this. And there they came in carrying these big silver salvers, which were all covered with the Maundy purses, ready to be handed out. And Queen Camilla came down the line, presenting them to each person. 150 people received Maundy purses. Why 150? Because Charles's age is 75, and so 75 men and 75 women received Maundy purses. Next year it will be 76 of each. And I won't be there. Don't get it twice round. What a shame. And all the other people in the cathedral were, as I said, invited, exalted guests, hierarchy of the different churches or anything else that the Buckingham Palace considered important. So it was a very exalted day. And the Maundy purses, and here they are. Here they are. You received two, a red one and a white one. Now, these were given out originally, mostly at Whitehall by the then King or Queen. Thank you, Darren. And as you can see, they're very pretty little leather purses. You can all have a good look at them later on. You can open them up yourselves and have a look at them. And in the white one, there is 75 pence worth of coins, again according to the sovereign's age. And these coins are 1, 2, 3 and 4 penny coins, marked up in the new currency, which came in 71, wasn't it? So they changed it to the new currency. And that's to buy food and clothing. Poor souls.
Whoever's in the shop, prepare yourself.
And this purse, the red purse, contains a £5 coin, specially minted. Here it is, with Charles' head on one side, and the dragon. You know the story of George and the Dragon, our patron saint in England. It's got the dragon on the back of it. And a 50 pence coin, again specially minted, and that has got a tribute to the RNLI on the back of it, this one, with Charles' head, of course, on the front. So as I say, you can all have a look at them, touch them, and what have you, later on, if you're interested enough to come. You're very welcome to have a go at them. So Camilla came round, and thank you, Darren, she quite won me over. She was really delightful. I did not know this picture had been taken. How they got it, I have not got the foggiest idea. Why it was my back, I don't know. But I'm quite pleased it was, if I'm honest. They must have had a camera pitched up high at some vantage point and decided that was a good shot of Camilla, so we'll just take that one. I can't say it was the best shot of me, but there you are, at least my back's in it. And she put the coins into my hand, and we had been instructed to either curtsy or bow. Nod your head. You'll never guess what I did. I nodded my head, because I couldn't curtsy if you'd paid me. And they were paying me, and I couldn't have curtsied. So I did nod my head. And she was smiling, very pretty up close. I was quite amazed actually at how pretty she was, just pretty. And she smiled, and she put the money in my hand, and she covered my hands with her hands. And that was really very telling somehow. She seemed to be really caring about what she was doing. And then she passed on, of course, to the next person. It was a very, very thrilling moment. I cannot deny it. Now, I was the lucky one who went to Worcester Cathedral to receive this Maundy money. But, you know, this tribute, although I received it, belongs to an awful lot of people. So I'll start at the back room. Shall I? Do I hear yes?
Yes.
Thank you. With Zoe. Zoe, who's in the back room sorting, we don't see her, but she does a lot of wonderful work, sorting out the clothes that go into the shop. Unseen, but a worker. And then we'll come out into the shop, and who have we got there? We've got Diane, running the shop most efficiently. God bless her. She looks after it, and she's very, very good at the job. And her lovely smiling face brings people back again to the shop time and time again. And then we come in here, and there's Andy, the boss's wife.
The boss.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say that. And Andy keeps things going over here, in here, see that nothing goes wrong or happens. At the time, remember, Darren, once we had a gunman or somebody come in and you got us all out.
Yes,
to leave.
yes.
So Andy's here supervising in here and doing a lot of other work behind the scenes that, quite honestly, till recently I didn't realise had to be kept, all the records. So she keeps all that going straight, and God bless her. I hate paperwork, and I don't think she's very keen on it either. But she does all that. And then we move out front. There's Claire, tapping away, keeping things going, knocking out the letters and all the other things that she does, and answering the phone beautifully. Come to City Mission, how can I help you? Wonderful. We would be. And then, of course, our director, Sarah. Everybody has to have a director. And where would I be? Where would I be without my director? Good Lord, I wouldn't have this beautiful, amazing stay, duct tape, envelope to put all my papers in. I wouldn't have the hedgehog that's in front of my television set, or the paper box that was Mother's Day, or the hanging for Easter, or all the other things, useless things I have in my house. I can't bear to part with. Under our director's supervision, I made all these. And I think that's everybody of importance.
I think I'm going to keep these.
I don't think there's anybody else. Oh, Remy on the doodah, whatever it is. I don't think there's anybody else of much importance that I need to mention.
It's James.
Yeah, James, loves Carol, there's James.
James and Carol and Tracy. Yeah, Carol over here who does the seniors. Anybody else?
I think this is trying to get Darren.
Who was that, Crystal? Oh, is that big fella that pops in and out? Darren. Most of all, I mentioned Darren. Of course he knows I'm joking, teasing him. Where would we be without Darren? There would be no Coventry City Mission. Make no mistake about it. Darren is... Am I embarrassing you?
Not at all. Keep going. We got hours, keep going. I don't think it's true, but keep going.
I thought I was embarrassing him. A waste of time. Without Darren, there would be no Coventry City Mission. I'm now serious. Because it's the most wonderful place. And dare I say, everybody that I haven't mentioned, without you, there would be no Coventry. Oh, Terry in the corner there. Missed him, who talks to us regularly. All you people make Coventry City Mission, but without director number 1, there would be no Coventry City Mission. And this award, although I'm the lucky person who received it, belongs to all of you. It really does. It's a tribute to the way the City Mission works and all that Darren has done for it in the last 20 odd years. How many years have you been here, Darren?
16.
So, oh!
Yeah, I'm older, I'm younger than I look.
I know, when I was a child bride, Darren, what's been achieved is just outstanding. Outstanding. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for my Maundy money. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about Worcester Cathedral. Are there any questions anybody wants to ask me?